In section 6.4, we're really just reviewing some vocab. In particular, the difference between a population and a sample. So remember that from a statistical point of view, a population can be thought of as a complete set of measurements or counts, either existing or conceptual. So a population could be the entire group of people that you're studying, or it could be the entire set of possible outcomes in a probability situation. A sample is a subset of measurements from that population. So you're not gathering data from the entire population, but just from part of the population. For our purposes, the most important samples are random samples. A statistic is a numerical descriptive measure of a sample. A parameter is a numerical descriptive measure of a population. Some commonly used statistics and corresponding parameters are the following. So remember when we were talking about a population, the parameter is mu for the mean. But in statistics, we call the mean x bar. When we're dealing with a population, the variance is sigma squared, the standard deviation is sigma. When we talk about statistics and we're just looking at a sample, instead the variance is s squared and the standard deviation is s. So we use different variables to represent parameters versus statistics. Often we do not have access to all the measurements of an entire population because of constraints on time, money, or effort. So we must use measurements from a sample instead. In such cases, we will use a statistic such as x bar or s to make inferences about a corresponding population parameter, for example, mu or sigma. A sampling distribution is a probability distribution of a sample statistic based on all possible simple random samples of the same size from the same population. So we've been looking at distributions of populations. Now we're going to be looking at distributions for samples. In section 6.5, we are going to study the central limit theorem, which will deal with the sample mean and sample standard deviation instead of the population mean and population standard deviation that we were working with up until this point. The theorem below describes the distribution of sample mean x bar. The standard deviation of a statistic based on a sample is referred to as the standard error of that statistic. The standard error refers to the standard deviation of the sampling distribution being used. So we have a formula we have to use when we find the standard deviation of a sampling distribution. For x bar, the sampling distribution, standard error is going to be the standard deviation of the population divided by the sample size. So in these problems, it will tell you that a random sample is selected and it will tell you the size of that sample. It might be 9 people were selected or a specific number that represents the sample size n. Now we're not going to dig too deep into the central limit theorem, but it's good to understand what it says. If x possesses any distribution with mean mu and standard deviation sigma, then the sample mean x bar based on a random sample of size n will have a distribution that approaches the distribution of a normal random variable with mean mu and standard deviation sigma over the square root of n as n increases without limit. In other words, x can have any distribution whatsoever, but as the sample size gets larger and larger, the distribution of x bar, the sample mean, will approach a normal distribution. And here are the formulas we're going to use. So when we have a sample distribution, the mean of that sample is going to be equal to the mean of the population. So the mean will be the mean, it doesn't change. but the standard deviation, we do have to use this formula. So the standard deviation of the sample distribution is going to be the standard deviation of the population divided by the square root of n, where n is the sample size. And then we have corresponding formulas for the z values, and we're just going to use that sigma that we found by doing sigma over the square root of n instead of our regular sigma. Let's look at an example. The heights of 18-year-old men are normally distributed with mean 68 inches and standard deviation 3 inches. So these are population mean, mu equals 68, and standard deviation, population standard deviation, sigma equals 3. What is the probability that a randomly selected 18-year-old male is at least 72 inches tall? This problem is not a sample distribution. We're just trying to find the probability that if we randomly select anybody in that population, they would be at least 72 inches tall. So this is just the probability that x is greater than or equal to 72. And so we're just going to use the normal CDF function on the calculator. And this is the probability that the height of the randomly selected person is from 72 to infinity, because at least 72 is 72 or greater. So 72 to infinity, those are my lower and upper bounds. And then I can just put in the mean, 68, and the standard deviation, 3. I plug that in my calculator, and I get 0.0912. So there's about a 9% chance that I randomly select an 18-year-old male and he's at least 72 inches tall. If we think about what that looks like with a normal curve, the mean was 68, 72 is up high, and the area to the right of that would be 0.09 approximately. If we take a random sample of 9 18-year-old men, what is the probability that the mean of the sample is at least 72 inches? So here's the key difference. We're taking a random sample of 9 18-year-old men. That means we are given an n value. Our sample size is 9. And we want the probability that the mean of the sample is at least 72 inches. That's x bar, rather than just randomly selecting one person who's at least 72 inches tall. Now we're talking about the mean of the sample. So this time we want the probability that x bar, the mean of the sample, is greater than or equal to 72. And so since we have a random sample, we are going to have to change the sigma using that formula. The mean is not going to change. So the mean of x bar is still going to be equal to the mean of the population, which is 68. But sigma of x bar is the sigma of the population divided by the square root of n, which is the sample size. So in this case, we're going to take 3 sigma from our population and divide it by the square root of 9, because our sample size in this problem is 9. That gives us 3 over 3, which is 1. So now when I plug this into my calculator, it's just like what I plugged in above, except I'm going to change that last number, that 3, and I'm going to put 1 in instead. So I'm going to type in my calculator norm CDF 72 to infinity. 68 is the mean, and my sample standard deviation changed to 1. And so I plug that in the calculator, and I actually get something sort of strange. My calculator said 3.1686, and then some more numbers, and then E negative 5. That is scientific notation. That means 3.1686 and so on times 10 to the negative fifth, which means we need to move the decimal 5 places to the left to convert that to a normal number. So if I take 3.1686 and I move the decimal 5 places to the left, 1, 2, I add a 0, 3, 4, 5, I get about 0.00003. And so that probability is quite low. But again, the important thing to remember is when you see a random sample size, when you're given a sample size, like in this problem, 9 people were selected, and we're finding the probability that the mean of the sample is in some range, that's when we have to convert sigma using that formula.